Barnicoat.
I'm Adrian Merrill.
And this is our Learning Disabilities project. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, we are wearing masks. But so that you can hear us, we're going to take our masks off to present this project. As we said before, this is our Learning Disabilities project 2020. Our learning disability this year was autism.
There are many spectrums to completely understand how autism affects a certain person and what all entitles autism. These are two examples.
There are different levels. There's high functioning, low functioning, and moderate, but you can be somewhere in between those levels anytime because autism doesn't discriminate on the child or the person. It just is.
Autism is referred to as either autism or ASD, which is autism spectrum disorder.
It essentially refers to the overall group of conditions that are characterized by challenges with social skills, behavior, speech, and nonverbal communication. It can also affect your attitude, your ability to function in everyday society.
The Centers for Disease Control say that it affects 1 in every 59 children in the United States daily.
Some common challenges are dealing with anxiety, change, transition planning, just everyday challenges. Horizontal planning and vertical planning are two very different things, even though they sound the same. And bullying. Bullying is a big factor because children with autism and people with autism in general get bullied a lot because they can't understand certain things or their mental capacity caps out at a specific age, even though they continue to grow older.
To expand on anxiety, it is a normal part of everyday development and for anyone, but for people with autism, it affects them greater because there's an elevated level of anxiety for them.
We were able to interview and study the autism department in our very own Coppers Cove High School. And as we were there, we were able to see the behaviors of the children and how they act around certain people and what triggers them and sets them off, because they could have very different reactions to very different things. But the sounds that they make when they're having a panic attack or they're anxiety or they're angry don't affect the other children with autism. So all the sounds that they make don't affect each other, but sounds other people make that don't have autism will affect.
When dealing with changes, people on the autism spectrum often find changes are very stressful and they don't adapt well to the changes of everyday life because they like things to be the way they are.
Having a set routine for an autistic child or person is something that is very important because if they have the routine, they follow it daily. It's a daily reminder of you start with this, you go to this, you finish with this. It has to be very detailed but minimal in how you explain it.
With transition planning, just hit that. With transition planning, you have it in everyone's life and it's inevitable because things will happen and you just have to adapt to the changes. However, a person with autism struggles with this because it's not in their already planned out day.
Having an already planned out day can specify you get up in the morning, you brush your teeth, you brush your hair, you go to school. But for an autistic child, their entire day is planned out every day, the same routine. And even just minor changes like having to go to a doctor's appointment or a dentist appointment just completely offsets them. And it could hinder or it could benefit because they could learn at different rates than we would without having autism. An expanded expansion on changes with horizontal planning is some everyday changes or new situations a person with autism may need to prepare for would be leaving the house, having visitors at your home, going somewhere such as the dentist, like I previously mentioned, switching between activities or tasks during play or learning, doing things in a different order from time to time, or eating new foods. These new things that are introduced to them that aren't already in their routine could offset them in a way that they're not used to.
An expansion on vertical learning is that
Progressions from one life phase to another are known as vertical transitions. This is effectively preparing individual with ASD for transitions, provides strategies to help individuals with autism transition to new environments, such as if a child with autism is in an elementary school and they're ready to move up to the middle school, you have to plan for that so that they will comfortably move instead of just having an abrupt change.
An expansion on bullying is that bullying can happen to anyone, except with people with autism, they are targeted more because of their differences, and people don't typically adapt well on their own, so having an autistic person be bullied just affects them more.
To add to that, the bullying of an autistic child doesn't only upset them and hurt their feelings like it would a normal person, it could also set them back, which is called regression. It could set them back in their mental age and how they act because their anxiety and stress amplifies because of this situation that they're put in.
Some coping methods that they go through are how to use their communication. They have to They have to work harder at understanding some communication methods, and they have to use sensory information more often because it's easier for them to understand, as well as they have to continue working on their memory more than most people would because their mental age is different in some cases. There's
flexibility of thought, social immigration, and disrupted expectations. These could all affect how their coping mechanisms have. They are beneficial for children with autism. These are the citations we use for the websites we have gathered information from. Like we previously said, we have been able to interview the lead coordinator in the autism department in our very own high school. We were also able to interview a family who has a child who is autistic. Just because a child is autistic doesn't mean they're any different. It just means they're just a child that needs a little extra love, just a little extra help. Thank you for your time.